Jonathan, thank you so much for making time with me. Usually when I do interviews at the Liss Gallery, I'm at the Liss Gallery. But this time I'm in your office and studio, so thank you so much for the invite. How does it feel having an exhibit coming up with the Liss Gallery? Because some of the best photographers, some of the best artists have been there, and now you're part of the family, my friend.
Super excited. Can't wait. It's been about almost a year and a half since the last show there, and pretty much for that entire time I've been working on this new body of work and the book. So there's going to be a book launch at the show, and it's basically almost a retrospective of like all the work that I've done up until now. So almost 15 years worth of work, and it's very, very exciting.
Incredible. And look, I'm really excited to do this too, because I mean, you've been featured in so many different aspects. CP24, I do believe Space Channel has talked to you, newspapers and stuff like that, man. Did you ever think that something that you love to do would be so popular and connecting with so many people and quote unquote making you some cash too?
Well, to be honest, I'm just happy it worked out that way, because you know, when you decide to be an artist, you do it at a very young age, and it's usually not really a choice. So I'd kind of be doing it whether people liked it or not. So I'm just really glad that people like it.
Now, you're a Torontonian, correct?
Yeah, born and raised.
Born and raised. And the art that you do, would you call it abstract?
I like to call it neo-futuristic abstract expressionism.
Whoa, one more time, man, because I got to make sure I get this right.
I call it neo-futuristic abstract expressionism. So it's like, it's new, it's contemporary, it's abstract, draws on a little bit of pop cultural influences, and there's a big sci-fi element to most of it. And so you put all that together, and that's kind of the best describing word for the genre.
So growing up, though, when did that love of being an artist start to happen?
I tell you, it started like really early. My mom has a drawing I did when I was like 3 or 4 years old of a ship, and it was like one of the first things that I did when I could very first hold a pencil. And that, you know, was the first thing. And then from there, you don't really know what being an artist is like as like a job, quote unquote. You know what I mean? You just kind of go with your instincts. And like I would always draw planes and cars and futuristic stuff, and then that turned into comic books, and then graffiti, and then fine art, and it was just like this whole evolution. And I remember like when I was a kid, like, you know, probably around like grade 3 or 4, figuring out that like you can actually be an artist, like it's a job, it's like something that people actually do. And as soon as I found that out, I was like, oh well, why would I want to do anything else? Like, you know, why wouldn't you want to be an artist, you know?
But your art seems to have different layers to it. For example, the one we're sort of seeing behind you right now has sort of like this one image, but then when you look closer, there's another image. And if you look closer, there's at least 3 or 4 or even 5 different layers behind this. First, what do you call this behind us? And am I right when I say about the layers?
Yeah, definitely the layers. Each piece for me is like a work in progress that takes, I would say, months, if not years. Some pieces can take a lot longer than others, and I kind of go at them in spurts of like inspiration. And I take a lot of elements from like classical films, a lot of elements from previous works, and just like stuff that just sort of inspires me from the city. And I kind of put all this together and just see what happens with it and try to make a new image out of it. And so this one we've got, I'm not sure it's actually finished yet. It's actually like kind of, it's in a resting phase, so it might change. This is, the cowboy here is based on an image from an old Western film called Once Upon a Time in the West.
Yep, I know the film.
Yeah, so his silhouette is just kind of like, just sort of like cut out of another scene, which was like created with a hodgepodge of a whole bunch of different images from like old magazines. And then the horizon I created by just layering acrylic and oil paint together painstakingly over the course of a few weeks, and then let that dry, and then paint it on top of it. And
I've seen your artwork characters from Star Wars, Clint Eastwood, as the man with no name. No limit to, you know, the images. Like, how does it come to you when you see something, whether it be in film or whatever else, and you go, that's something I want to do? What triggers you?
You know, there's so many different things. This show, for instance, is like very influenced by photography. So I've been very welcomed by the Toronto burlesque community, and I've been shooting a lot of a lot of models, a lot of events, and I take a lot of those images and I create paintings with them. So this new show is less cowboy heavy and more female / portrait heavy, I would say, with using the same sort of themes. And it's like, when you just know when it's good,
But what about colors, though? How important does that bring out what's inside in you that we get to see on a canvas?
Colors are so important. Painting really, I think, in its like essence, is about color, and it's about using color to convey feeling and emotion. So that just comes with practice, like knowing what colors go with what colors and using them to kind of create that symphony to, like, get something to the viewer. And I think color is a beautiful vehicle for that.
Now, you mentioned there's a book to this, and you kind of talked about it before, but let's get back into that again. How does this book connect to your art and what we're going to be seeing at the Liss Gallery?
So the book is actually really interesting because it's been a very painstaking process. I'm not a writer. I have never done a book before, so this is all me, and it's gone through about 4 different revisions to where it is now, and now it's at a really good spot because I think the direction that the book is going to take is how the work gets created and the steps that everything goes through, like where the inspiration comes from, what's the initial, like, what's that initial spark that makes everything else follow. So the book is going to have sort of like a kind of hodgepodge of like images of the work, so it's going to be a bit of a portfolio book of the work, but I think more importantly it's going to, hopefully, if it's successful, outline how the work is made and like where the different elements of the work come from, personally and like visually.
Sounds like you're looking to inspire the next generation who will be following in your footsteps.
Always.
If you could speak to that next generation, what advice would you give them in following in this this great way of leaving a legacy?
I think it's a bit of a cliche to say, but you gotta just believe in yourself and be honest with yourself and follow your dreams.
Sounds like it, my friend, and you're doing it too. Look, we know about the Liss Gallery, but we never know wherever you're going to be and whatever work is going to be happening. Is there a website, social media we can go and follow you?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is at John Ball. Liss Gallery also at lissgallery.com. www.jonathanball.com. Those are kind of the main ones, and Facebook and yeah.
Fantastic. My friend, thank you for the invite here. Looking forward to your work at the Liss Gallery. But man, just thank you for, upping the whole prize when it comes to the world of art.
Pleasure, man. I you got to paint. I just paint all the time, and I just love getting the work out there. I love the process of painting, and I just got to have color on my walls.
Love it. Thank you again.
Cool, man. Pleasure.